Welcome to video 3 of AI meets AL, and today we are going to look at we'll dive a little bit deeper from where we stopped, and we are going to basically now implement our custom functionality using artificial intelligence using the Azure OpenAI. So we are going to bring we are going to implement our custom functionality using Azure OpenAI, but definitely not diving deeper, but not so deep, because we are going to use a sample from BCTech, where the sample code for basic item substitution, but you can choose to use whichever you'd like in terms of the code or the customization that you'd like, maybe advanced suggest job, or conference demos. But here in the BCTech, where I'll share a link to all these, to the repository, you can fork it and maybe be able to clone it. Then here we do have the Azure OpenAI Basic Item Substitution. We will be using everything under Basic Item Substitution. I know when you clone the repository, you'll have so many samples, but we are basically trying to do an item substitution, and the functionality basically here is to say, if I do have an item, and here is the function, the end goal is, if I do have this item, and I can basically be able to generate the substitutes of this item using Copilot. And when the functionality in that app adds this substitutions button, where we can suggest with Copilot and we can see whatever we just looked at, which is the prompt dialog page. If you haven't, remember, this is a continuation series, and go back and watch that. And this is what we are seeing here, where the prompt dialog page is being utilized and it's populated here. We do have it here generated. Okay, open up. We have it has opened up. We can generate and look at the basic item substitution. And it is so it's giving us the number, the name, and then even an explanation. This chair is similar to the Tokyo guest chair, but it comes in black instead of blue. This one is similar. It comes in yellow. It comes in green instead of blue, because the original chair is Tokyo guest chair blue, but this one is a Rome guest chair green, Berlin guest chair, and all that. So we can decide to select all of them and confirm that we do want, or we have agreed to input these items as substitutes of the original item. Envision that you have maybe 10,000 items, 100,000 items in the same system. Then such a functionality can really go into the several items and get items that do have similar attributes or are possible substitutes, because AI can make mistakes, so are possible substitutes of the item at hand. So this is what we are going to look at. This is the functionality that is already implemented. We do have the code, but remember, if you haven't been able to implement this, it's good to start there and just implement whatever is there. Instead of trying to build everything from scratch, let's use this functionality, implement it first, see that it's working, then we can pick it up from there.
Ni Tech na Msangi ya jishinde.com.
So what do we need to do? We need to first of all look at the code that is here, as I've said, in the BCTech, github.com, Microsoft BCTech, and then we have the sample in Azure OpenAI Basic Item Substitution. This is what I've chosen, the basic one. Then this is the code that we want to implement. So create a new project and implement this particular project. It's like, yeah, you copy all these folders and paste them, change a few settings there for your app.json, and okay, you don't need to change app.json, but maybe launch.json. Yeah, a few things on the launch configuration to configure it to your sandbox, specific sandbox that you're using, then you'll be good to go. So now, once you have copied this code and done that, you need to go to Azure portal.azure.com, and remember, in Azure you should have a few credits. I can't really specify the amount. If you do have a free subscription, maybe a trial subscription, then you can as well use it. If you don't, then buy a few Azure credits for the Azure, for us to be able to create this Azure OpenAI resource. So you'll go ahead and create a resource that will populate a page that enables you to create a resource for Azure OpenAI. Choose your subscription, that the subscription that will be attached to that particular resource. A resource group, as usual, we do have the several resource groups, the region, the name of the resource, the pricing tier, and all that. And then you create the resource. So once you create the resource, the most important thing after creating the resource, you go ahead and open your resource. Then we need a few things for your resource. We need the what is it called? Where is that resource? We need the keys. Okay, we need to go here, back on the left, the keys and the endpoints. So we need the key, this key one. Okay, either key one and the key and the endpoint. So we need the key and the endpoint. So make sure you copy your key. I won't show my keys, but now copy your key and copy your endpoint. Then, so those are the two things that you need after you have created your resource. Then you go to the model deployments. So the model deployments has been moved to, I don't know, Azure OpenAI Studio. So go to Azure OpenAI Studio and do create a model, because it will be attached to your resource now. It's like saying now, which model am I using? Is it GPT-3, GPT 3.50, or the GPT 3.5 Turbo? I've chosen this GPT 3.35 Turbo. So you just create your deployment, and you can have as many deployments, but now you will choose the name of the deployment in the L code that we have copied. So we just set the name, the model, and maybe, yeah, the content filter, whichever. I don't think there's any other thing that is needed here. And then you just make sure you have the name of the deployment. Once you have done that, remember we said that in your launch.json, you should basically map your Azure code to the sandbox that you're using. Then in your launch.json, okay, now let's come back now to Visual Studio Code. We have the code. It's already written for us. It's now understanding, a matter of understanding where to change. So the first thing, or where we are changing, remember now there is an install code unit here known as the secrets and capabilities setup. So this is the code unit that under Copilot code unit. So if you copy the basic item substitution folder, copy the folder and paste it in your project, and you'll have this. You'll definitely be having all these packages. And the prompt there's a prompt dialog, there's a Copilot code unit, and internal. So we are focusing on the three folders. Let me even maximize them. So this is what we are focusing on, and we can just minimize that. And let's come here. So here we have the Copilot code units. We do have the generate item substitution proposal code unit. So this is basically the logic, a lot of logic behind it. But let's start with the secrets and capabilities setup code unit that will enable us to do a setup where we register capability on install app pub database, which runs the installation or reinstallation of the, okay, runs during the installation or reinstallation of an extension. So when we are installing the app or reinstalling it, then we run this on install app per database trigger. There are other triggers like on install app per company trigger, which also runs during the installation or reinstallation of an extension, but when you're installing app per company. But now here, so we register our capability, and this is where we needed the secret key. This is from Azure OpenAI secret key. The same here. This is now Azure OpenAI deployment, which is like a link. It's definitely maybe the name of the resource .azureopenai.com or something, and this is the endpoint, which okay, no, the model deployment is for Azure OpenAI Studio. So the name of the deployment where we were setting the GPT 3.5, GPT 4.0, this is now the Azure OpenAI Studio. This is the deployment, and then the endpoint is now your specific endpoint for your resource. And remember, if this is not set up, ideally your code will be having this error that set up your secrets here before publishing the app. So it is basically throwing an error for you so that you can come and store the information here. So for now, we're just storing it in the basic way for the purpose of testing, but we can definitely be able to store it better. Anyway, so let's move swiftly. We are done with that. So what happens in the context of the item substitution? So what is happening behind the scenes? Once we do have this, we have a prompt dialog, and in the prompt dialog we have the item. First of all, we do have this table, which is a temporary table for the Copilot item substitution proposal. So this is the table that is definitely, remember we had an explanation, that is where it is stored. A full explanation is a blob, a select, where we selected to say that we want to retain that item or not retain the item. We do have the item number, the description, explanation, full explanation, and the select. Then we do have the item substitution AI proposal sub page that basically takes in the item. Okay. This is a prompt dialog page, and of course it's a preview mode. The prompt mode is supposed to be prompt. Okay. So this is the sub page that contains the suggested items. So we still, in our area of prompting, we are just having a chat request. Okay, just giving the information on the chat. So this should be a global. You can see it is a global text variable where you're just typing in. Then once we have generated the item, we store them in the Copilot item substitution proposal sub page, which contains this table. It contains the table that is holding that information. So when we do the generate, when we click on the generate, we run the generation. That what does it do? We first of all we are using this code unit, the generate item substitution proposal, to set the user prompt. There are different types of prompt. There is a user prompt and a system prompt, and then the query. So what does the user prompt say? So input user prompt, where is it? Set user prompt procedure. User prompt is input user prompt, which is let me use the user. Okay, so the user prompt, so the user prompt is the input user prompt. It's whatever the user has keyed in as the input, and then we can go back to this prompt dialog. and generate. Let's just move to the generate. Where is the generate? So we are getting it. The prompt is the chat request. Just forgot real quick, but it's whatever this global variable that is contained. The user prompt is me, the user, that I am setting whatever I'm querying. Then we are sort of deleting any record that is here, any temporary record. Remember, our page is not extensible and our table is temporary. So we are trying to make several attempts to get a result. So until attempts are sort of not more than 5, but definitely. So when we are getting a result, we are passing the table so that it can populate the result in this particular table. And here is the data in our result. Remember, in our table, in our result, we are having a list part page, I believe. So we are having a page that is listing several items for our output. All right, so we get result. We're just saying that we are copying this, and there's something that I'm looking for. Before we get result, we run the generation. Okay, so this is why I didn't get it. So there is a code unit here, get item proposal dot run. So this is where everything is getting the value. So we run it first and then we get the result. So we are still using the same variable. So this code unit on run of this code unit, that's where everything is being done. So when we run the code unit, we get the item proposal here. And then from this get item proposal, we create an outstream so that we can be able to write data into the temp blob. So this is an instance of the temp blob. Then we basically call the system prompt the text. So this is the text. We are sort of creating the text for whatever we'd like to send to Copilot. So we are getting a system prompt, which is saying the user will provide an item description and a list of items. Your task is to find items that can substitute the item. So this is like we are telling, we are now giving specific instructions to the AI, to the model, so that the model can know how to behave. So try to suggest several relevant items. If possible, the output should be in XML containing item number and all that. Use items as root level tag and use item as item tag. Okay, use items as a root level tag and use item as item tag. So this is now specifying how the output will be from the XML. We really are descriptive in a way that the system prompt, you can look at it deeper so that you can see how descriptive it is. Then you skip empty nodes. Do not use line breaks or other special characters in explanation. So we are so specific to the model so that we can get accurate data, including telling it not use line breaks and skip empty nodes. Then we can get the system prompt from here and the final user prompt. And so the final user prompt contains the prompt, and then we're saying these are the available items. So it is the prompt, when we add the prompt plus now all the items. So we are sending all the items. All the items are appended into the final user prompt, including the description of the item that needs to be substituted, which is now our input prompt. So make sure that that description isn't changed, or don't change it to something that won't make sense, otherwise it won't give you the right information. Or even if you change the description of the item to a different item, then it will give us wrong information. So the get final user prompt comes here, it gets a system prompt, the user prompt is here. We okay, outstream, we write text, and then we create an in-stream instance of this so that we can be able to, okay, we write, okay, what does write text do? Writes text to the outstream object, because we created an outstream to enable the we were able to write data through the temp blob. Within the temp blob, we write text to that instance of the temp blob, and then we can now be able to read data from the temp blob. And then there is this XML buffer that we can now load it from the stream. So, and the chart, so the chart is now giving us the prompt. So the chart, okay, I skipped this part. No wonder I was getting a little bit confused, because the chart is where now everything goes on, because the chart, we are passing in the system prompt and the user prompt. So when you pass the user prompt, we'll need to use this key and all that. So one extra thing is that we have an enum, that extension that we extended, and the what is it called, AOI model type for chart completions. No, this is the enum that we extended for the copilot capability. We added an enum extension to bring in the find item substitution. We set the maximum tokens, the temperature, the system message now, where we are giving instructions, including the output, the way the output of that XML file should come in, then the user message, then we generate chart completion. This is all encapsulated in the Azure OpenAI system.ai code unit or system code unit, and then we generate a completion, and if it's successful, we get a result. If not, there's an error thrown, and our result is here for us. Then yeah, so we get our result, and then we are able to append or write our result based on the instructions that we gave in the system prompt. On how the system prompt is like telling this AI, become a doctor or become a lawyer or do this work this way, return it this way. System prompt is like in simple terms, programming or making the model to be, okay, what is it called? There's a term I'm trying to get. Prompt engineering. Okay, this is prompt engineering, so that is the prompt engineering in action, trying to get the model to give us the specific result that we want. Then we append all the information into our XML buffer, but now we read it from the XML buffer table that has been loaded from the in-stream. After we get the text, we write it to the outstream. We create an instance of the in-stream to be able to read it. We delete, of course, it's a temporary table that encapsulates XML buffer, encapsulates the working with XML files. Then we load from the stream, we clear it, and then we are able to append the information now from the XML stream into our item substitution. So this is something that I'm just trying to pass through it very fast, but it's something that everybody, or if you're attempting this or another model, try and understand whatever is happening. maybe just do it first, let it work, get excited. At least you have been able to implement it. Once you have been able to implement it, now you can go to how does it work, or why does it work the way it's working. But basically, and that's it, because I already shown the demo. I won't repeat there because it's already long enough. So the simplest thing is now go to the BCTech and clone the repository. Pick out of Azure OpenAI, take either Basic Item Substitution, which I recommend because it's a simple one for the beginning part before you can do our own custom one, or we can maybe test another one. Then go and take the code out of it. You'll clone it, or you can copy whichever way you want, create a new project, and have this information. Have the basic item substitution as a project. Change your launch.json, go to Azure and create your Azure OpenAI resource, and then go to Azure OpenAI Studio. Under that resource, deploy the model, get the 3 values, the secret, the deployment, and the endpoint. Come back and copy them into your item, what is it called, secrets and capabilities code unit, which will run when you are installing the extension and automatically register the capability. And we can see that we are trying to see there's an enum extension. I expect that yes, there is this enum. Where is it? Oh, it's lost. Yeah, where is it? So this is our enum extension. There is an enum extension to add this find item substitution. So when we are registering capability, we confirm if it's registered for this find item substitution. Then we register the capability, which is encapsulated under the system.ai.copilot capability. We do the register the capability, and then we now are able to set the secret, deployment, and the endpoint as part of registering the capability. Make sure everything is okay on that aspect, and then be able to test. So if you have a challenge, send it in the chat. I'll share links to everything that I've used in terms of especially the GitHub links. And if you have any challenge, send a chat, and we'll be able to see how to navigate through it. That's it for this long video 3 video 3 of AI meets AL. We can see it's getting more detailed, but don't worry at this point. If it's new to you, if it's something that seems a little bit scary, just copy the code, make it work fast. Then now we can go deeper. We can keep peeling the onion into pieces. We can peel the onion layer after layer. So we are at the top layer here. We are going a little bit deeper. Before we start crying, before the onion starts giving us some tears, let's now unpeel it slowly, and we'll be able to get the best out of AI in Business Central. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss the next one.